Robinson,
Here.
Baxter,
Here.
Harris,
Here.
Ginn, and Height.
Present.
Thank you.
If you don't mind, we'll ask for everybody to stand for the prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for bringing us together again tonight. As you can see in front of us, we have a miracle looking at us right now, and I want to thank you for making that possible. I thank you for all of our councilmen who come to every week to make things better in our city. I cannot say enough about what happened with the storms that we had. Our waste management, of course, they were a little bit behind, but our condo and our police and our fire, everybody responded. I cannot say enough about what our city has done for the citizens. I thank you for letting us all come together. I pray that we answer all your questions tonight, and thank you, God, for letting us be here. I want to say this in your name. I bless you. Amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all very much. So moved.
Okay, on the motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn? And Height.
Yes.
Thank you. Communications? Yes, sir, Mr. Baxter.
Does the record need to show that we're not getting out on video because of computer issues as far as Councilmember Harris and I?
Yeah, it's just,
And me.
And you?
That's just because I'm lazy.
I thought it was just a Ward 3 thing, I didn't know.
No, it's,
Well, since we're present, I think we're doing the video more for Councilmember Height.
Okay.
We're participating, so
Okay.
I'll make sure, though, that I note that.
Only reason I'm getting,
Is there any communication that needs to be pulled?
reason I'm getting us because I'm on.
If not,
Move to accept 1, 2, and 3.
And four.
4
And
and
four.
4.
And four.
Okay.
Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height.
Yes.
Thank you.
is Sherry Bruno, did I see Sherry here yet? Sherry Bruno, presentations for the Christmas parade trophies? Kara, if not, Diane?
Councilmember Ross was going to present trophies with her.
Right.
I believe I saw a message.
Contacted me.
Huh?
Never if there's a list here, we'll do it.
I don't
Heard back
see
from
her,
you.
I don't see anybody, I don't.
I have a list. I just need you to give it back to me at the end of the day.
Were y'all here with the parade? Okay, why don't we go ahead and go forward?
Yes.
Somebody
Debbie,
needs
if
to
you
help
don't
me.
mind,
You're
please.
elected. Come on.
Come on, guys.
Come help me. How's that?
So you're going to do them in reverse? Go to the microphone.
Okay, these are the words for the North Rock Christmas Parade, the the North Rock Christmas Parade. And for the best equestrian group, Hearts of Arkansas. Is there anybody here for Hearts of Arkansas? There we go.
Way to go.
All right.
Councilmember Ross, can you stand on this side so that Charlie can speak?
What did they win, Miss Ross? What did they win?
That was the best equestrian group.
Equestrian group, okay, gotcha. I
All
couldn't hear.
right. And then we have the Sertoma President Award is 501 Studio, the Golden Royalty Dance Team.
Dance team here?
Do we have anyone here?
Anybody representing them?
All right, we do.
There he comes, yay, way to go. Woo! Pictures, who's got them? Shara? Okay. And if parents want to come up, please come on, don't be bashful. Or grandparents.
Y'all can get in the
Aunts
picture.
and
You
uncles.
can go out of the work too. Y'all
There
can
you
get in
go.
the picture.
Come on up.
Parents, come on. Yeah.
Congratulations to you.
And then next, we have the best marching group. It's the North Little Rock High School Marching Band.
All right,
Oh, yeah.
all right.
I think we have anyone
Anybody
here.
from here? Coach Rice, would you do the honors? You can take it back to him if you don't mind.
Here you go.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. And next, we have the best fire truck, and that is Gravel Ridge Fire.
Way to go.
There we go.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, next, we have the best dance performing is Miss Karen's Dance. Do we have anyone
All
here
right.
for Miss Karen's?
Miss Karen?
All right, next, we have the best nonprofit, and is the Scimitar Theron?
Yes.
There
All
we go.
right.
Hey.
There we go.
Yes.
There we go.
Very good, thank you. Congratulations.
Okay, the next we have the best decorated commercial or business is the Arkansas Travelers Baseball. There we go.
Hey.
By the way, I hear we got the Major League coming in tomorrow, by the way. Isn't that correct? We got Major League coming in tomorrow, right? Or do you know? I think I'll be there to see you. So, thank y'all.
Next we have the best Boy Scout Award, which is Cub Scout Pack. I don't have any numbers here. Is there anyone here from Cub Scout Pack?
Khalil?
I think we do.
I was teasing. I saw Khalil back there. I thought
Okay.
he'd stand up and get this one. Never mind.
All right.
I'll get you later, Khalil.
Okay, next we have the best club entry is North Little Rock Wildcat Football. There we go. Anybody listening to football?
You get triple duty tonight, Coach. How's that?
Have a whole carload to take back.
They're gonna love you.
The next we have the best beauty entry. It's the Arkansas Fair Arkansas Fair Queens, car number 3, Rodeo Queens. Everyone here? Sharing out there? Okay, we
All
don't. And then we have the chairman's choice is the North Little Rock PD SWAT Bearcat. I know we've
Keep
got
testing.
someone here.
Pat's back there.
All right. All right. And the last is the Mayor's Cup. This is the Sertoma North Little Rock Christmas Parade Mayor's Cup Award goes to Meadow Park Elementary. Congratulations to everybody. Great job on Thomas.
Johnny, Coach, if you don't mind, bring your 2 students up here, please, sir, if you don't mind, at the front. What do I do with those? You gotta sit down. I'm teasing. I don't know if y'all know this or not, but we've got 2 unbelievable basketball players in our midst here. And I'll tell you, for the first time, and parents, grandparents, y'all come on up. Come on, make this comfy. I know you want to take some pictures, so please do, come on up. For the first time in state history, 2 students in one season from Arkansas has been named to the McDonald's All-American players, and both students are from North Rock Charging Wildcats.
All right.
760 high school basketball players from across the U.S. to be nominated for the chance to play in the 45th anniversary of McDonald's All-American Games. Nick Smith Jr. and Lee Ware are the first students from North Rock High School to be selected, and the first players from Arkansas to be selected since 2013. Nick is currently averaging, ready, 24.5 points. Did we get that right? A game? All right. And 6 rebounds and 6.3 assists per game. Khalil, you're averaging a double digit this season with 21.2 points. Close? Okay, we'll take it. 12 rebounds and 5.7 blocks per game. These two guys, have they averaging double digits, but this deal has led to Charging Wildcats to a 20-3 record. What are we ranked in the nation right now, Coach? All right, they're number 3. So now for I, Terry C. Hartwick, Mayor of the City of North Rock, do hereby proclaim Cleo Ware Day and Nick Smith Day. If I can give you these proclamations and say congratulations to you, we're so proud of you. Just for a sec, talk about these two. I've seen them play, of course, state championships, but go ahead, Coach, if you don't mind.
We've been, we're blessed. I know I'm blessed as a coach, but I know our school and our city is super blessed to have student athletes like this. We've, because of them, we get invited to play in a lot of events. We've been anywhere this year to Dallas and played, and Memphis, and Fort Myers, Florida. And we played in the big King Cotton tournament in Pine Bluff, and we won that. And so we've been able to travel and play all over the country against the best high school basketball teams in the country. And like I said, we've been very successful. And but we know the whole purpose of that was to prepare ourselves to try to go to win a state championship. And I was just talking to my staff today. 3 weeks from this Thursday would be when the state championship game is. So the season's winding down, and it's kind of part of that grind, part of your year, to where you got to keep working and keep getting better and want to get playing your best basketball. And I think we're doing that. And but these two guys here are doing something that hadn't been done in the state of Arkansas. Never had two. Like I said, we hadn't had one since 2013. We've only had a handful of 4, 5, or 6 that's ever played in the game, period. And for them to both to go from the same high school, all that does is put a lot of pressure on me to make sure we win. So I don't know, but they sure make my job a lot easier. There's no doubt about it. So our city should be just tickled to death that we got these two young men that are representing their family, their city, and our school, and our team, and they've done a great job doing that. So thank you all very much.
You're going to, I heard where you're going to school. Okay, guys, you got your unique. No, I'll tip yourself. How's that? Where are we, Miss Diane?
To announce the public hearing
Okay.
regarding O-2211, and then we'll call that item when you adjourn
Okay.
the public hearing.
If you don't mind, let me go ahead and call this public hearing O-2211, if you don't mind. Guys, thank y'all very much again. Parents, appreciate y'all. Thank you very much.
Mayor, I don't know if you want wastewater or the consultant to come up and
Let me do
perhaps
the public
introduce it.
hearing with Mike, if you don't mind, come up first, and then we'll go from there. Is that fair? This is Michael Clayton. Identify yourself, please, and just go forward.
Okay, my name is Michael Clayton. I'm the director of North Little Rock Wastewater. And Mayor, at this point, we have a short presentation we'd like to at least present
Okay.
to council and to the public as well. We can go to the next slide here. I'd like to just kind of be short and sweet. Wanted to show North Little Rock wastewater, our service area that we cover. We're able to go to the next slide. There we go. All right, this is a map. It's kind of hard to read because it covers such a large area, but just give you encompass what we do. We're a regional wastewater provider. We cover all of North Little Rock, all of Maumelle, and about a third of Sherwood and parts of Pulaski County from Galloway to the Morgan area. So it covers north of the river. It's a broad area there. We have about 42,000 customers. We serve about 102,000 people, roughly in there. We have about 715 miles of pipe. That's our gravity lines, our force mains that we maintain. We have nearly 75 pump stations out in the collection, distributed throughout the system here. We have 4 treatment plants that are also part of our system here. One at the Faulkner Lake facility, one at Maumelle, one at the 5 Mile, which is over there behind Sam's, and we have one at White Oak, which is over there by the soccer fields at Burns Park over there. The next slide, please. What I wanted to do is talk just a minute about how we got to where we are today. 2011, North Little Rock Wastewater entered into a consent administrative order with ADEQ to eliminate or reduce sanitary sewer overflows into our system. Back then, in 2011 and prior, we were experiencing about 120 sanitary sewer overflows per year.
How much?
So 120. And over the next 10 years to where we're at today, we have been putting efforts into cleaning our lines, televising lines, doing inspection work, and doing massive rehabilitation work. By doing that, it has paid off dividends. We have lowered our annual SSOs down to about 25 for last year, for 2021. So it's a turnaround swing of about 90 plus that we made improvements. We're not finished. We got more work to do. But back in 2011, we did not have enough funds to do what we consider adequate rehabilitation of our secondary sewers. What we define as secondary sewers are smaller pipes like 6, 8, 10s, and 12s that are in the neighborhoods, in your communities, your collection system there. That's the bread and butter of the sewer lines right there. We didn't have enough money back then, so we had to do a loan with a public financing loan with ANRC in 2012 to borrow some money. I think it was $25 million to be exact, in order to do treatment plant improvements and do rehabilitation of the collection system. And then 2016, we went back to our funding agency and borrowed another $30 million, and most of that funds were allocated towards secondary sewer rehabilitation. Now, since 2014, we have been trying to change our business model, where our annual pipe replacement or relining, if you want to call it, is part of our ratepayer funds. Instead of borrowing the money to do secondary sewer rehab, we wanted to make it part of our O&M and R, operation and maintenance and replacements. So we've spent 7 years restructuring our business model to do that. Now where we're moving next is into an area, what we call this 2-phase for rehabilitation. We need to continue on perpetually with our collection system rehab. One of them is what we call the aging secondary sewer lines. These are lines that are 70 years old and older. There might be 80 or 90, in some cases 100 years in some areas. Usually the pipe after 50 years has no useful life to us, and we need to reline them, get those joints sealed, get the water out of it, and that's what causes our problems with SSOs. We've identified about 510,000 feet of pipe in these older parts of our neighborhoods. We broke it down to about 9 zones, and we plan to try to replace most of these pipes in the next 10 years. So that's one of the bread and butter efforts that we're trying to put in, is to continue our rehabilitation of our secondary sewer systems there. Next slide, please. This map is hard to read, but the blue lines show the lines that have been rehabilitated since 2012. The purple lines are the lines that are under contract. It kind of gives you an idea where we're working now with pipe bursting or CIPP work or some kind of work like that. There's some yellow lines down in the East Broadway area right now that we're investigating right now to come up with a design project for our next batch of rehabilitation. I wanted to point out in this slide here that since 2012, we've got over 500,000 feet of pipe that's been replaced since our efforts been on secondary sewer rehabilitation here. Next slide, please. These are the list of our projects that we have implemented since 2012. There are 16 projects that are completed, and there are 6 that are either underway or out for bids. And what we have, you can see we spent about $36 million since 2012 in order to put an effort in rehabilitating our collection system here. Again, these are our older lines, our secondary sewers here. Now, I believe we've got our rates structured in a way that we can continue on perpetually with supporting our secondary sewer rehab. What we need to do at North Little Rock Wastewater, our goal is to replace about 68,000 feet of pipe a year. That's about 2% of your collection system. So the theory is over 50 years, you have the entire system turned over and sealed on this. This is an EPA goal, it's 2% of your system on an annual basis. Next slide. Our larger pipes, which we call interceptors, they're 24-inch, 30-inch, 36, 42, 48, and 54. They're a large diameter pipe. Just think of it as your body here. You've got the veins that carry the blood. Think of that as your secondary sewers. And for the arteries, that's like our interceptors. They're the big pipe. They transport long distances from the neighborhoods to the pump stations or to the treatment plant. These interceptors are expensive. They're very expensive to replace. So most of these, if not all of these, are at least 50 years old. They're made of concrete pipe, and the joints need to be sealed. And the best way to do that, we found through our experience, is cured in place pipe, and it works well. And we've got a 10-year plan here to move forward with rehabilitation of our interceptors. With we just can't afford to do it with our current rates. So we have to borrow money from a public finance agency known as Arkansas Natural Resources Commission. We've applied for a loan for $45 million at the interest rate of 0.75% with an effective rate of 1.75%. But we've got $45 million loan that has been secured, ready to move forward with. We got a proposed rate ordinance before the city council in order to help support the loan in this case here. But this interceptor plan here is for what the 8 out of the 10 projects in our master plan for the loan will apply towards here. So if you don't mind, I'm going to turn it over to Dan Jackson, which is our consultant and done our financial analysis, and he'll make a short presentation related to our rates.
Next slide, please. Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, identify yourself, please, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. My name is Dan Jackson. I'm Vice President of Wildan Financial Services, formerly known as Economist.com. I'm a rate and financial consultant. I've done work for about 200 cities across the United States and several foreign nations over my 35-year career. But one of the things I'm most proud about is the fact that I've had the privilege of serving the city of North Little Rock for the last 23 years. I've been working for you all in some form of capacity since 1999. So I guess I consider myself an honorary resident of North Little Rock, even though I'm from Texas. Periodically, the wastewater utility has hired my firm and myself to review your finances and develop a new long-term financial plan. These plans are important because, as Mr. Clayton indicated, look, wastewater systems are very expensive. They're expensive to build, they're expensive to maintain, and they're expensive to replace. Cities like yourselves have a responsibility to provide a level of service that's going to be acceptable to your ratepayers. Now, keeping rates low and keeping costs low is a very worthy and admirable goal. But that goal has to be balanced with the need to invest in your system to ensure that it continues to operate properly. I work for a lot of utilities that have incredibly low rates, don't raise their rates ever. But those utilities get in that position because they don't spend any money on their systems. So their systems are literally falling apart. Is that the best way to run a system? Not necessarily. The challenge that you face as a community is to balance the desire to keep your costs as low as possible with the need to fund and invest in the future of your community. I'd like to go through just a very few quick slides to summarize our analysis and provide our latest set of recommendations. I want to start this out by showing this chart right here that shows what people pay for wastewater service here in the city. Your average residential customer pays a base charge of $18.05 a month. They get 400 cubic feet as part of that base charge. And then for every 100 cubic feet beyond that, they pay a rate of $5.64. Next chart, please. A common question people ask is, how do our rates and costs compare to our neighbors? Do what we pay for wastewater service here, is that disproportionate to what other cities in Arkansas are charging for that service? This chart right here attempts to compare monthly charges in North Little Rock with other cities in Arkansas. The standard is 5,000 gallons, or just about 700 cubic feet. That's about an average amount of wastewater usage for a residential meter each month. As you can see, your rates are pretty comparable to your neighbors. You're about where you would expect to be. You're higher than some, you're lower than others. You're right about at the average for this sample. As you can see, you are a little higher than cities like Texarkana and West Memphis and Pine Bluff. You're about the equivalent to Jacksonville, and you're actually lower than Hot Springs, Fayetteville, Conway, and you're significantly lower than your neighbors in Little Rock. You're about 30% below what Little Rock pays for the same amount of service, and you're way below a city like Fort Smith. So what this chart tells us is that our rates are right about where we expect them to be, and people certainly do not pay a proportionate amount for wastewater service here in the city. Next chart, please. How has your system changed over the years? Well, in the year 2006, you had 29,000 customers. Today, you have 41,000. You've seen some growth, but sort of the big push was when you acquired the Maumelle system. We're forecasting that you're going to continue to see some modest growth over the next 10 years, and that is part of our financial equation. Because remember, when you do a long-term financial plan, you don't just look at where your utility is today. You have to look at where it's going to be tomorrow and plan accordingly. Next chart, please. Okay, so again, this is a financial plan. A forecast is not a guarantee, it's a prediction based on a series of reasonable assumptions. What do we anticipate is going to happen to the utility over the next several years? Well, a lot of your costs are going to continue to go up. Listen, the cost of everything goes up by 3 to 4% a year just due to inflation. You try to operate your wastewater utility like a business. You offer a product, a service. So it is reasonable to expect you to charge a rate that covers the cost of providing that service. And guess what? When those costs go up, you've got no choice but to pass those costs through to your ultimate rate customer. Certain costs of a wastewater system, like chemicals and electricity, gasoline, insurance, they're probably going to be going up at rates even higher than inflation, and our forecast takes that into consideration. You are going to retire some debt, that's a good thing, but as Mr. Clayton indicated, the most significant impact on your long-term financial plan is the capital improvement spending that you have to need to maintain, repair, expand, and replace your collection and treatment system. It could be as much as $72 million over the next 10 years. But keep this in mind. It is a direct investment in the future of your city. The money that you spend on these capital replacements is going to go right back into your streets and alleyways. It's going to build assets that are going to service you, your children, your grandchildren, and maybe even your great-grandchildren. So while it's never easy to ask people to contribute to the cost of making these repairs and expansions, those costs are going to benefit them and future generations of residents. Next chart, please. As Mr. Clayton indicated, the utility is looking at issuing $45 million in debt over the next 4 years. Now, how and when that debt is issued is going to have an impact on your plan. As you can see, you're looking at issuing as much as $33 million in the next 2 years, and then another $12 million in the 2 years after that. Next chart, please. So bottom line is that we anticipate your cost of service is going to continue to increase in the next 5 years. I know there's a lot of numbers on this chart, but this is the elements of the cost of providing wastewater service. The total cost of providing wastewater service in the current year, 2022, is about $23,952,000. That's made up of operating costs, capital outlays, and then your current debt, and then the new debt that you're going to have to issue to fund these future projects. As you can see, your operating costs are expected to rise periodically over the next 5 years. Cost of everything goes up, so there's no reason to expect those aren't going to go up. Capital outlays are going to stay fairly fixed at about $2.8 to $3.8 million. Debt service on your current debt is actually going to dip a little bit from $3.9 million down to $3.2 million because you're going to retire some debt. But the $45 million in debt is going to result in additional debt. So the bottom line is that your cost of service of $23.9 million today is anticipated to increase to $27.3 million by the year 2026. Next chart. So bottom line is this. We recommend that, as we have in the past, that you implement a new multi-year plan to recover the revenues that you need to fund your current and your future expenses. We recommend implementing a series of annual adjustments to your wastewater charge. Your current base charge of $18.05, we recommend increasing that to $18.95 effective in March, with annual adjustments in January of 2023 through January of 2026. We also recommend that the volume rate goes up as well. What does that mean in terms of what people pay? Now, I always hate to try to take these complex financial forecasts and try to summarize it in terms of one or two numbers. I don't like to do that, but if I did, I would tell you that for the vast majority of your residential ratepayers, the impact of this plan would be an increase in their monthly bill of $1 to $2 a month. As you can see here, your average wastewater charge of $34.97 under this plan, if adopted by the council, would go to $36.71, which is an increase of $1.74. It would go up to $38.56 in 2023, which is an increase of $1.85. It would go up by $1.93 in 2024, $2.42 in 2025, and $3.42 in 2026. So that is the impact of the 5-year plan on your average residential ratepayer. Next chart, please. What does this mean in terms of how your rates would compare to other utilities? Well, under this chart right here, your current bill for 700 cubic feet, which is about 5,000 gallons, is $34.97. It would go up to $36.71. As you can see, it's still well below Little Rock. And I can tell you one thing. As a rate consultant, I can assure you that everybody is increasing their water and their wastewater rates. The average utility has been increasing its rates by 5 to 6% a year. So Little Rock is looking at adjustments over the next several years. Hot Springs is looking at adjustments. Conway, Bryant, all of your neighboring cities are looking at adjusting your rates. Even if you adopt this rate plan, we project that your rates will continue to compare very favorably to most of your neighbors over the next 5 years. Next chart, please. So you'll be happy to know I'm in my final chart. Obviously, it's never easy to ask people to pay more for anything at any time for any reason. We certainly understand that. But there are a couple of reasons why we would recommend that you seriously consider adopting this rate plan. First, your costs are going up. They're going to go up whether you adjust your rates or not. So all you're asking your ratepayers to do is pay what it's costing you. You don't make a profit off of your wastewater operation. So when your costs go up, this rate plan just passes those costs through to your ultimate ratepayers. But more importantly, it will allow you to make $72 million of capital investment into the future of your wastewater system. New lines, better lift stations, treatment plant overhauls, a better quality of service for everybody. And it will finally, you have done an extraordinarily good job of maintaining the financial viability of your wastewater utility. It's been a privilege to serve you because you The council, both the current council and prior councils, have addressed some very difficult decisions, and you have made the decision to ask ratepayers to ensure that they contribute enough to maintain your financial health. You wouldn't believe how many utilities I work for that are not financially healthy. You are healthy. This rate plan will continue to be healthy in the future. We strongly recommend that you consider adopting this rate plan. With that, we'd be happy to answer any questions you have at this time. Oh, there you are.
Questions? Councilman Ross?
I wish we'd seen this before the meeting so we could have been prepared for this, because this is
Well-
very last minute, and these are little tiny numbers, but I do have a few questions. So what impact has Maumelle had on our rates, taking, when we took over Maumelle, what impact are they having on this amount that we're having to borrow?
Our calculations indicate Maumelle has been a net financial benefit to your system. Most utility systems operate on a concept known as economies of scale. It doesn't cost you twice as much to serve 2,000 customers as it does to serve 1,000 customers. So if you get additional customers into your system, they're all paying minimum charges, they're all paying volumetric rates, and it allows you to spread your costs over a wider group of customers. So in our opinion, the Maumelle acquisition has enabled you to forestall the need for greater levels of rate increases. It won't ever allow you to decrease rates. Decreasing rates are not ever going to happen. But what it has allowed you to do is limit the need to do further rate increases.
Okay, so do all cities, whether you're inside the city limits, does everyone pay the same rate?
That is correct.
So everyone pays the same rate?
Pays the same rate.
Okay, and then one other thing, I don't know, the numbers were going so fast. So if I caught this right, so in 4 years, the average customer will be paying additional $10 a month, is that correct?
Yes, that's about right.
So 4 years, it'll be an
Right.
extra $120 per household.
Over a 4-year period, that's correct. It'd be phased in over a 4-year period.
Correct. But from now to 4 years from now, it'll be an additional $10 a month.
That's about right. Yes, ma'am.
That's their recommendations, is what I'm saying. That's their recommendations. They still
Well,
have
no,
to bring everything back to
on the,
us.
that's
Yeah.
what was on the chart. was
I
an
know, but
additional
that's
$10 a month, and
recommendations.
you
They still have to bring it back to the
take the
council.
numbers, so I guess I'm just trying to look at that, an extra $120 in 4 years for some families is, that's difficult. So that's not is that the minimum? Or was the average, the additional $10 in 4 years, these numbers?
That is the amount that would be necessary to enable you to fund your operations and your $72 million of capital improvements. You would need to implement that level of adjustments in order to fund all of that.
But the numbers that you were showing us, was that for the average customer, or was that a minimum customer?
That's for an average customer. That's
Average
correct.
customer, okay. So not everybody would have an additional $10 a month?
Yes, some will pay a little more,
Okay,
some will pay a little
okay,
less.
that's why I was trying to catch on that one.
Anything else?
I
Yes.
do.
I'm sorry, Ms. Ginn, first.
I'm concerned about the money too, for each individual, just like you are, Council Member Ross. But what's more important to me right now is, when we took on Maumelle, are we gonna have to increase the size of the sewer to cover them anytime soon?
Maumelle has their own wastewater treatment plant that we acquired.
Right?
And in the long-term best interest of North Little Rock wastewater system, we are in the process of consolidating the Maumelle treatment plant with the White Oak plant. So we have 4 plants we want to merge the Maumelle into the White Oak and get back to having 3 permits. Each plant by themselves are very expensive to operate and maintain. By moving the water from Maumelle to the North Little Rock facilities, it will enable us to treat and serve at a cheaper rate for us.
Okay, I'm concerned about the businesses that are close to the sewer system. Is that gonna, when you have to increase that and bring in Maumelle's in the next few years, I'm assuming?
But
What say-so do we have on where you increase your sewer system next to businesses?
Operational standpoint, the increase.
Well, the businesses, no, the lines are not really being changed in terms of the Maumelle into the White Oak. We're going to convert the Maumelle treatment plant to a pump station.
All right.
And we're going to pump it and transport it to the White Oak plant, is all we're doing. We're keeping the collection system everything just like it was originally designed in the Mall Mill vicinity in that area over there. In the White Oak area, which includes parts of Levy and parts of going up Crystal Hill in that area and the White Oak Bio, we're not changing that as well. We're keeping the same size, and those businesses and developments along there have room for growth over there as well.
Okay, so if you decide to expand into the development, do we have a say-so as to where you're going to expand your systems?
When you say expand, are you asking like the service area? would
I'm
be
thinking of
expand-
North Shore business. That's not in my
I
ward.
believe you're speaking about condemnations.
Size of the plant itself, normally it's a decision that's made within the committee, the treatment committee.
Okay,
North Little
are there
Rock
any of those people on that committee here today?
Waste- I don't believe so. No, ma'am.
Who heads up that committee?
We have Chairman Buck Matthews.
Okay. Okay, so I believe that's all I have.
Okay,
Thank you.
anybody else? Ms. Ross?
I do. So when we took over Mall Mill, the Mall Mill residents, they were paying an additional cost, correct? At the time weren't they paying an additional fee to pay off some old debt they had or something? Am I wrong on this, or?
We acquired the system back in 2016, and it was incorporated as part of the North Little Rock wastewater system here. So a Mall Mill customer is the same as a North Little Rock customer, as a Sherwood customer. They're all the same. The residential customers are residential customers. Where we change classes is when you come commercial versus residential, or you got an industry. And it doesn't matter where it is within our system. They're all treated the same in that case. Am I answering the question?
I just know that they were in great need of, there was a lot of work to do there, in Mall Mill. And I guess my concern is that
Plant the seed.
the cost that it's, for the Mall Mill to bring it up to date is not impacting any of the North Little Rock residents' rates. And I know volume takes care of a lot, but if you've got a large work order out there that is going to eat into your profits, I guess that's where I'm coming from I know it'll take care of itself in the long run, but initially, is it costing us more?
Well, most of our work that we've got proposed in our rehabilitation work, they're centered in the oldest parts of the North Little Rock system here, which is mainly that one set of maps from Levy to Argenta, the Rose City, Dixie, Meadowbrooks, East Bethany, those areas over there. Those are where our oldest sewers are. That's where we're putting most of our effort into for rehabilitation, try to bring up to standards.
Okay, so on the consent decree that we had, that, to bring our standards up, have we taken, how much, is this amount going to also take care of getting us to where we should be on that?
Ms. Ross, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what your question was.
Are we totally out of the consent
Are
decree
we out of
now?
the consent decree? My understanding was they've released us from the consent decree. Is that correct?
Correct.
No, I'm sorry, we are not under consent decree. We
Okay, so we
were
brought
in
everything up.
2011.
Okay.
We got out of it early in 2018.
That's
And
what I want to make sure.
we're trying to stay out of it as
Okay,
much as we
so
can.
this is to keep us
We don't
out
want
of
to get back
another
into
one.
it. I'm
Okay,
sorry, I did not hear your question. I
okay,
was
that's
trying to
fine.
hear you.
Anybody else? Mr. Hamilton?
So my understanding was when we took over Maumelle, it was actually a newer system, but it was being poorly run. But I remember when Central Arkansas Water took over the water system. I sound terrible.
All right.
It was the water system, in my recollection, when I was in the mayor's office, that needed so much work, and they ended up paying a lot more. Maumelle residents paid extra on top of their water bill. Now, when we looked at the average cost of sewer bills for different cities and neighboring cities, Fort Smith looked terrible. Is it fair to say that's because they failed to invest into their infrastructure, and the consent decree that the federal government put them under is now mandating some repairs, and that's why they are forced to charge their residents so much? Kind of a pay now or pay a lot more later?
That's absolutely correct. Just used a consent administrative order that the EPA put on North Little Rock wastewater. Ours was 14 pages, to give you an idea. It was like a quarter of an agreement. If you look at Fort Smith, it's 148 pages. They put an awful lot of stipulations, requirements, and it drove up the cost of their consent decree over there. So, yes, that's why theirs is one of the highest, if not the highest, in the state of Arkansas.
And if I'm also correct, if we adopt your recommended rate increases, we will still, if Little Rock doesn't raise theirs at all, we will still be lower than they will be.
That's correct.
Thanks.
Ms. Ross?
But if we raise ours and Little Rock doesn't raise theirs, in 4 years we'll be the same or more, correct? Because I know
think
when you
you'll
were
still be a
comparing,
little
I
bit
was looking
below
at the
them.
numbers. You were looking at the numbers.
I think you'll still be just a little bit below them.
Okay.
But
So it's-
I would be astonished if Little Rock does not raise their rates in the next 4 years. I don't work for Little Rock, I don't have any prior knowledge, but I do know the industry, and they're getting hit with the same cost increases that everybody else is. So it's reasonable to assume that they will continue to increase their rates.
Mr. Baxter?
And we really don't even know what kind of a plan that they may have in place over in Little Rock as it relates to improvement of those secondary pipes, correct? I mean, I really don't think that we care. We're concerned about taking care of our own business primarily as opposed to Little Rock's.
That's correct. I'm very tunnel vision on trying to take care of the North Little Rock system here.
Anybody else? Mr.
I'm, been around a few utilities, and I'm all about pay a little now and then a whole lot more later on. So, I'm gonna be for this tonight.
Anybody else? If not, I'll call this public hearing adjourned. Thank you very much. Appreciate y'all.
To go ahead and call the item?
I'd rather wait in line, if you don't mind. Let's go ahead, just go ahead and start, and I'll get it at the end, okay?
Okay.
Please.
Then you're up to
I'm
consent.
on, I think, old business, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh.
R 2208?
Yep, sorry, I forgot we had old stuff.
Yeah, that's fine.
R 2208.
Please
Mayor
call it.
Hartwick. A resolution confirming the appointment of Michael Marion to the at-large position of the North Little Rock Advertising and Promotion Commission. There a motion?
So move.
Motion?
Second.
There's a second.
On the motion and second to adopt, Ross?
Please, Ms. Ross?
No, and I spoke to you about this, I'm for this appointment because I understand what, Michael Marion does, he has with the arena and everything. But in the event that he ever does leave that position at the arena, that he be replaced. That's my one request on the AMP.
Miss Amy, you've got to answer that question.
I'm sorry, council member, I didn't understand what the question
I'm all
was.
for his appointment.
Right.
But in the event that he is no longer at the arena,
Right.
in that capacity, that he needs to be replaced on the board, is what I'm saying.
The law does not
Okay.
really account for that. The way the law is structured on the AMP Commission, this appointment is an at-large position. It is made by the AMP Commission and confirmed by you all. If he did, in fact, resign from the Simmons Arena, he's required to live in the county. If he left the county, then he would no longer be eligible to serve. If someone wanted to ask him to resign, they could do that, but there's not a mechanism in the law that if he changes jobs, he would be automatically off the commission.
Great, and I know that we can't make an amendment or anything. I'm just stating that I would hope that we would have a North Rock resident in the event that he is no longer
I understand
serving
what
in
you're
that
saying.
position.
Understand. Okay.
And the answer is yes.
Okay.
Yes, okay. Hamilton?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
R 2217, Mayor Hartwick.
Please call it.
A resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute a lease agreement to lease property located at 800 Main Street in the city of North Little Rock from Haybar Properties LLC, amending the 2022 budget, resolution number 10174.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Motion adopted and seconded.
On the motion, Ross?
Yes?
Hamilton?
Yes?
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Thank you.
O-2204,
I talked to Councilman Taylor. He said to hold that, if you don't mind.
okay. New business, we're up to the consent items.
Please call it.
You have consent items R22 through 26, R22, 26 through R22, 41. Does anyone want any of those pulled?
I'd like to pull as R2237. And the reason why is, that's the property that Councilmember Robinson and Councilmember Taylor and myself have been working on. That's where the health facility would be going. But I'm holding it up till I get a good phase 1 and phase 2 in here. I've explained that to the people on the property. So it's ongoing. We hope to have it in here this month, but I cannot ask for adoption of that till I get a clean bill of health on that piece of property. And I think, yes, Ms. Ross?
So you're just holding it?
Yes, I'm holding it.
Okay.
But I thought Ms. Ross held her hand up.
Okay.
You want to hold it?
I did. No, I'm on something else.
Okay, I'm going to hold that. So the rest of them,
But I do want to pull one.
you want what?
Pull R2226.
R2226.
Okay.
Can I read, do you know more about that than I do now? I got
I've not heard one thing.
let me read this that I got today, Maya, with, if you just don't mind for just a sec.
Do you all want to vote on the consent agenda first before you start discussion on item that hadn't been called?
Here's what happened, Davis Fields. I can do whatever you wish, but Ms. Ross asked me today what this on, and I really didn't know it till I talked to it. So this is about Scott Landers going towards to redo 4
But do
floors.
we need to wait till we call
I
that?
don't, which way I should do
I
it?
think we need to wait till we get on the floor.
Yeah,
Go for
y'all
it.
are on the
All right,
consent
go ahead.
agenda now, so get it on the floor first.
We'll do it. It's on the floor, no
Thanks.
question.
Okay, so we need a motion and a second on the consent agenda.
So moved.
And then everyone, this is where all in favor? None opposed? Okay. So now, you want to go ahead and do R2226? I'm going to call that.
Please,
Okay.
if you don't mind.
R2226 is a resolution certifying local government endorsement of Applied Technology Group Incorporated to participate in the tax back program as authorized by Section 15-4-2706D of the Consolidated Incentive Act of 2003.
Okay, so,
Go ahead, Ms. Ross.
no, and why I wanted to pull this is normally when we get a tax back, we're presented with what's the benefits for North Rock? How many new employees are we
That's
going to
what
get?
I-
Why is it- And this had nothing with it, and I haven't, today I haven't been able to find anything.
And I just got it from one of our economic development directors about 2 hours ago, an hour and a half ago. So anyway, let me read it to you, and then you can make a decision, or we can hold it, whichever, okay? This is from a company called ATG. We'll locate 60 employees and add another 60, which 120 will be added to renovate 4 floors of the U.S. Bank building right across. The equipment improvements estimated to cost $8.5. The average annual salary for these 120 jobs is approximately $100,000. I had that brought in today. Of course, when I was talking to you earlier, I thought it was something else, but this is who this is for. And again, it's approximately 120 employees.
That's what I've been looking for
I know it,
today,
and I
and
know
so
it.
I'm,
And I appreciate you asking. We
okay,
had-
because, and I wish that when we get these, that we see this, and I wouldn't have to call you
I
and
didn't get it,
everybody
so you
else.
know, when you questioned, I had something else in mind. When I got back, in fact, Todd Larson just sent this to me, I want to say about 3:30, 4
Yeah,
o'clock.
I know
so
Colleen was trying to get a hold
I
of
know,
him,
and
because
she got
Robert's
me.
out of town, so.
That's where it's coming from, and we're excited about what's happening in the U.S. Bank building, and the people there, so that's what
Okay,
this is
so I
about.
move for adoption.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, on the motion to adopt, Ross?
Yes?
Hamilton?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
Now we are up to new business, R2242, Mayor Hartwick. And that item actually needs to be held until the next meeting.
Yes, I need to convene a public hearing on this, it looks like.
Well,
You
yeah,
don't go ahead and
that-
read it
yeah.
though first?
Actually, Mayor, if you would hold this one till the next meeting, we filed it one meeting too early. It's been noticed to the homeowner for the next meeting.
That would be held then, thank you very much.
So the next one is R2243, Mayor Hartwick.
Please.
A resolution approving and certifying amounts of liens to be filed with the Pulaski County Tax Collector against certain real properties in the city of North Little Rock as a result of grass cutting expenses and abatement of other nuisances.
I need to call a public hearing on this, if you don't mind, so I'll convene a public hearing. One of those speaking for it or against it, please come forward. Seeing those, I adjourn the public hearing, please.
Is there a motion?
Adoption.
Move to.
Second.
Thank you.
On the motion, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Ordinances 02208, Mayor Hartwick.
Please call it.
An ordinance amending the general rules and regulations for the North Little Rock Electric Department to include a section on collection of debt. First reading.
Move to suspend the readings.
Second.
On the motion, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Move for adoption.
Second.
On the motion to adopt, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
May I make just a, go ahead, I'm sorry, I'll get it.
On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height?
If I can take just a
Yes.
second of y'all's time, Ms. Jessica Stevens, if you don't mind, I want to introduce her. She's the interim new general manager of the electric department, along with Jill. Jill, if you don't mind, both of y'all stand up and see. This is, I guess I've been calling it a two-headed snake for a while, but these two people will be running our electric department. Jessica, if you don't mind, you want to say a few words or just go on? All right, I want y'all to meet them. Thank you very much for showing up. I appreciate it. Next.
02209, Councilmember Harris.
Please call.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 9427, which rezoned property located in Country Club of Arkansas Phase XXB-C in the city of North Little Rock from R1 to RO and C3 classification, zoning classification by amending ordinance number 9263, adopting an amended land use plan for the subject property. First reading.
Move to suspend the reading, place on.
Second.
Okay, on the motion, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Is there a motion to adopt?
Motion made.
Second.
On the motion to adopt, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
02210, Councilmember Robinson.
Please call it.
An ordinance rezoning property located at 715 North Olive Street and 712 North Magnolia Street in the city of North Little Rock from R4 to C6 zoning classification by amending ordinance number 9263. First reading.
Move to suspend all readings.
Second.
On the motion, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Is there a motion to adopt?
Move to adopt.
Second.
On the motion to adopt, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
On the emergency clause, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
02211, Mayor Hartwick.
Please call it.
An ordinance fixing rates for services furnished by the sewer system of the city of North Little Rock, Arkansas, prescribing other matters pertaining thereto. First reading.
Move to suspend the readings.
Second.
Motion suspended, second.
On the motion, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
Is there a motion to adopt?
So
Motion made.
moved.
Second.
Okay, on the motion to adopt, Ross?
Yes, because we have to.
Hamilton?
Yes. Same
Robinson?
reason.
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
And on the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Ginn?
Yes.
And Height?
Yes.
02212, Councilmember Baxter.
Please call it.
An ordinance waiving section 9.11.a of the subdivision ordinance, ordinance number 7946 for property located at 2300 Reading Lane to allow the waiver of sidewalk requirements. First reading.
Move to suspend all readings.
Second.
On the motion, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
yes,
So, Mr. Baxter.
Mayor, before we vote on this here, I know that there's been some discussion about when we waive these sidewalk requirements to have a fee of some kind be levied and put into our drainage improvement districts. And again, you know, I think this is would be another opportunity where we could support those funds. So anyway, and again, I'm anxiously awaiting an opportunity to vote on that. And with that said, I'll say that this is down in Reading Lane, just off of MacArthur. There's no other sidewalks in that area. You're not going to put a sidewalk along MacArthur based on the speed. The nearest sidewalk is probably 180 out as you go to the school, where along 38th, where there's not very many school-age children that attend that school in the community there either, anyway. Although, let's all understand that we do use our sidewalks for exercise, and riding our bikes perhaps, but again, it wouldn't connect to anywhere. So that's why I'm supporting this.
Is there a motion to adopt?
So, moved.
I gotta call a public hearing here in a second. if you
and
don't
that
mind.
too.
So,
Okay.
let me go ahead and do that. If it's called public hearing on this 02212, those wishing to speak for it or against it, please come forward. And those, see anybody, I will adjourn this public hearing. Please call it.
And who was the second?
Second.
You were the first. Yes, I got you. Second, okay. On the motion to adopt, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann? And
Yes.
Height?
yes,
On the emergency, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Baxter?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height?
yes.
Concludes new business.
Public comment that was on 02210 is that's for Vernon Williams. Is they still want to speak at the public hearing? Are they on? Okay, thank you very much. Let's see, as you know, city offices will be closed in observance of George Washington's birthday. That'd be next Monday. I said it earlier, and I've got some calls about the green waste management baskets, yellow. My understanding is, I know it's been tough what we're hearing, but my understanding is waste management will be on their regular pickup this week dating back to 2 weeks ago. Now, if you were on the agenda to be picked up 2 weeks ago, you're going to get picked up this week. So, yes, sir, mister.
Where are we at on our new trash cans and dumpster? I mean, have we ordered the truck and everything?
Everything's, believe it or not, we get a new truck in here late this month. I'm not going to put any trucks on the road until I get all of them in for all wards, but we will start training them. The large trash cans will become, and they'll be distributed approximately about 2 weeks out before we start all of them. And it's, we're storing them right now, but it's on go to be everybody being serviced. If Condo was here, I'd ask him, but right now we're looking at late April.
So is the trash cans going to be, are we going to have to go get trash cans, or are they going to be delivered
I'm
to
going
us?
to have them delivered to you.
What do I do with the ones I got?
Trash it. We're only talking about the waste management. Or you can use it to pick up, or whatever you might do. But you'll be getting, all citizens in North Rock will be getting new trash cans that fit the pickup by the truck. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yeah, okay.
And I wonder if they can recycle
Yep.
their old trash cans.
I guess I can put it on Facebook, trash can for sale or something like that.
Anybody else? Ms. Ross?
I guess what I wanted to say is, you know, I had, like everyone else, I'm sure, had numerous calls about waste management and how unsatisfied basically they were, that they were not being serviced. You know, I kind of understand with the storm and everything, the ice storm and everything. But what I will say, every single person complimented North Rock Sanitation, how thrilled they were, what a great job they did. And I have to say personally too, I was out chipping ice and one of them stopped and said, "You're going to get hurt." You know, so I called Condo and I told them, I said, I hope you pass that along to them, how much we appreciate them working.
Great job.
We worked with them all during the ice. I was here talking to, of course, our police and our electrical department. We were all on duty. and they did do a good job, along with the police and the fire and the energy department. So it's not just one, it was a lot of them, so I appreciate y'all very much for doing it.
I buy them a few scratch-offs. You never know when it might pay off, you know?
Scratch-offs, okay.
Yeah.
On the motion, guys?
So moved.
On the motion to adjourn, Ross?
Yes.
Hamilton? Robinson? Yes. Baxter? Yes. Harris?
Yes.
Gann?
Yes.
And Height.
Charlie,
Yeah.
good seeing you, baby, good seeing you. Appreciate you. Good meeting, everybody,
meeting,
good
sir.
meeting.